Call of Duty. These three words have such a range of impact on gamers. Some think of the nostalgia from many years ago.
Shut your fucking dick up, you little fucking cock. You suck at the game. That's why you don't compete anymore, because you suck.
Some think of the unbalanced and unchanged game mechanics that have plagued the series forever. And some just don't give a shit. It's understandable. Any franchise, gaming or not, that lasts for 17 years with over 19 titles, it's going to have its ups and downs. Hell, our Earth has had more ups and downs this year alone than the whole COD franchise. I mean, it has been 2020, which has been a shit show, but you get my point. As of late, Call of Duty's success was derived from their title last year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. This was a rebooted, remastered sequel, prequel, who freaking knows what of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And as our beloved and favorite game developer Activision loves to follow the money, this year was another rebooted, remastered sequel, prequel to another famous Call of Duty game, you guessed it, Black Ops, continuing the storyline and characters from that legendary 11-year-old game. With this year's game production screwed over by things, including a studio switch, a year shorter development cycle, the pandemic, and having to develop this game from home, all COD fans wondered, how would this game come out? Will it match the quality of its older sibling Modern Warfare 2019, or go down as just another call of crap? I'm Cord Gamer, and let's kill some zombinos, rack up some score streaks, and sneak our way right into this. After a critically mixed zombies experience from Black Ops 4, Treyarch brought the zombies back to its origins. As of right now, there's only one map, Die Maschine, and it is a remaster of the classic Nacht der Untoten, one of the very first zombie maps from World at War. However, the gameplay in the installment has changed in some big ways. When loading into a zombies match, you must choose a customizable loadout. Goodbye, pistol rounds. Also, around the map, there are a few crafting tables where you can craft things like grenades, tacticals, and even certain kill streaks to help keep back the hordes. Lastly, there are certain rounds where you can call in a rescue chopper and leave the match without dying. When I first saw these changes, I thought Treyarch was watering down the experience in order to rope new players into the zombies aspect. I am pleased to say that this is not the case, at least not as a whole. A lot of the things that I thought were going to make the game easier for new players are actually really well balanced in a nice mix and variety to the zombies mode. Sure, it takes more than 2 hits to kill you without the Juggernaut perk in the early stages of a match, but the difficulty does scale in a good way. At least you can't get double hit from a zombie behind a barricade in the beginning of a match anymore. As stated earlier, there is only one map right now, but it is a very well made map and a lot of fun in general. There are plenty of areas where you can train zombies, the ray gun is as fun as ever, and the Easter egg is a blast to do. I have always enjoyed zombies from previous titles, but never was a huge zombie type of gamer myself. However, when my friends and I hopped on Call of Duty on its release day, we just stayed in the zombies mode for 10 plus hours, had a blast, and I don't regret it. However, I do have one main gripe with this mode: its performance. There have been many times where my game loses random frames in the middle of an intense battle with the dead, or I go to hold F to revive my teammate, and it just doesn't work. Some of the bugs and glitches have frustrated me, but overall, this is a very solid game mode that will please almost any zombie fan. As it is merely lacking in content, I cannot wait for more maps to drop. I've always had a special space in my heart for COD campaigns. Are they short? Yeah. Are they repetitive? They can be. But at the end of the day, they are just plain good fun. This latest installment fulfills this aspect, especially in some unique ways. This campaign is set right smack in the middle of, you guessed it, the Cold War, a time where arcade machines were actually cool, TVs were as thick as anime thighs, and, oh yeah, we hated communism back then too. For the first time in a long time, this campaign took certain true historical aspects and spun a COD story of intrigue and general spyness around it. The plot revolves around the emergence of the Soviet spy Perseus.
The CIA's analysts consider him to be the single largest threat to the free world.
You mainly play as a CIA agent named Bell, trying to track down Mr. Perseus before he blows up the world. While the quote-unquote concept of Perseus is historical, and Ronald Reagan is kinda historical as well, I guess, that's where the factual content of this game ends. However, this beginning really helps build the setting of the 1980s. Raven Software really put in a lot of effort selling this decade's aesthetic, from 80s styled bars, generic 80s movie posters, to functional arcade machines. In my experience of the COD franchise, this is the most effort they have put in selling an era, and was a lot of fun to play through in this reimagined 80s setting. There's a lot that could be said about this campaign, but I want to focus on 3 specific aspects that really set it apart from the other COD campaigns. First, there is a functional purpose to the collectibles. Most COD campaigns have had collectibles in the form of intel. They are fun to look for, but not detrimental if you don't look for all the intel in every nook and cranny. In this campaign, however, the intel scattered throughout the missions actually affects your playthrough. There are 2 side missions that, in order to properly execute them, you need to solve a different puzzle for each, and depending on how you solve your side missions will change your ending at the end of the game. This was a highlight for the game for me. I actually had to turn on my brain for more than 3 seconds to find these pieces and try and solve the puzzles. I love how, 17 years later, Ravensoft is still finding new aspects to add to the COD series, and I hope to see more puzzles in the future. The second aspect that sets it apart are the dialogue options. Throughout the various missions, there are forced as well as optional conversations that you can have with various NPCs that add an additional layer of immersion into the game. While for the most part the dialogue doesn't really affect the ending and it can be quite cheesy at sometimes, it was a very interesting way of immersing you, the player, into the shoes of Bell, and allowed for some minor character development for the other NPCs. The last thing I want to mention is the emphasis on stealth missions in this game. Out of the 10 main story missions in the game, 4 of them include huge stealth areas. In fact, for me personally, and remember this is my own opinion, for most of the campaign, it didn't really feel like a COD campaign. I know, right? A COD campaign not feeling like a COD campaign? What am I saying? Over this franchise's history, the tone of their campaigns have always wavered from either a rated R, super serious tactical war movie, or a bombastic, unrealistic action movie. This year, Black Ops Cold War had more to do with a Mission Impossible style movie, rather than a run-of-the-mill COD campaign. It really felt more like a spy-on-the-ground game rather than a boots-on-the-ground game. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this campaign, and although it isn't perfect and was relatively short, it is a memorable experience and fun while it lasted. Alright, it's time for the nitty-gritty, the real stuff, the meat of the issue. No one buys COD just for the campaign or zombies. Nah, it's that running and gunning, shooty bang bang experience called the multiplayer. You know, that mode where the man with the quickest draw in the West is the one that dominates. How does it hold up this year? The mechanics of this game aren't half bad. It takes a lot of the good mechanics of Modern Warfare 2019, such as the gunplay, pacing, and boots on the ground field, while taking out a lot of the controversial mechanics like the doors, mounting, and tactical tic-tac-tactical sprint, producing a more arcadey version of COD that is more reminiscent of older Black Ops titles. Also, the maps aren't that bad either. Besides Miami, which we all know is just a shit show for some reason. All the maps definitely have that Treyarch feel of the 3-lane map design implemented into them. It is refreshing to say the least, after Infinity Ward's experimental open map design with Modern Warfare. This 3-lane map design in the game makes it overall less campy and a little bit more enjoyable. However, there are 3 specific aspects that hold this game back: the unfinished nature of the game, score streaks, and skill-based matchmaking. This game released with the least amount of guns, maps, and modes ever in the history of COD. These 3 things are fundamental to a COD multiplayer. You can't keep a fan base or a player base of this game with this little amount of content. Also, the movement in general just feels unfinished and really glitchy at times, especially when sliding around. It is obvious this game was rushed to meet the deadline of the yearly COD release. The score streaks were definitely an interesting idea, I will give them that. However, it takes way too much time and effort to get certain score streaks like the gunship or the attack helicopter. It's not even worth equipping them because it's practically impossible to earn them, especially in the sweaty lobbies that skill-based matchmaking bring. Skill-based matchmaking just sucks. Call of Duty is supposed to be a casual game. If you really want to have a ranked mode, just add a ranked mode. Like, come on Treyarch, it is not that hard. Halo 2 figured it out all the way back in 2004, just have a casual and a ranked playlist. And as I'm recording this, I just realized something. I actually lied. There's a fourth aspect that holds this game back. Every good COD multiplayer has always had its own taste to it. Something that made each game stick out from the rest in a good way, and also made it fun to play. I hate to say it, but Cold War just doesn't have a taste. The guns are generic at best, there are no fun score streaks because it takes so long to get them, and the in-game announcers are nothing special. In many respects, while this Cold War installment makes some improvements over Modern Warfare's 2019's phenomenal multiplayer, it also takes a lot of steps back while being the plainest, blandest, most bare-bones COD multiplayer ever created. When Modern Warfare was released last year, I thought that game divided the COD fan base. Boy, did 2020 have something in store for us COD fans. A lot of different aspects of this game is pretty divisive among its fan base. But, in my books, for a short campaign experience, an amazing zombies mode, and a rough multiplayer, this game gets a 6 out of 10. For anyone who has not bought this game and is interested in it, if you're a big campaign and zombies fan, I'd say you get your money's worth out of it, especially if it's on sale. But if you're only in it for the multiplayer, I would try and see if you can try it out on like a friend's console or computer or something like that before buying it. I honestly don't prefer the multiplayer, but I know plenty of people who seem to be enjoying it and having a blast with it. It seems to be one of those hit or miss situations. But what do you guys think? Is Black Ops redeemable? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.